of it, but I understand why. Lisa is iconic and taken over a lot of new faces, so it feels really good to get it. And now I'm glad that we got it, and now we can hopefully really roll.
What would you give your team on a scale of A, B, C, D?
I think that's I try not to grade until I watch the film. I thought the whole thing, we had some moments, but we just really lacked a lot of consistency. And that's the thing I would probably, grade us pretty low in consistency. I think when we were working on the actions within our offense, we had too many one-pass shots. But when we really worked our offense and we did that consistently, we got a few runs. Defensively, when we really kind of put our head down and had a presence in there, then we were pretty good. But it was the lack of consistency. So I'd give us a lower grade in that. But part of it is, with these games, you're still trying to figure out who your people are, right? We have a lot of depth, but you're trying to figure out how and when and who and what combination. So sometimes we're kind of messing with it. And then you got something going, but you want to try that piece. So I think these games, maybe this game, we might have set everybody up for that inconsistency a bit.
I asked the players this, but the schedule obviously ramps up the non-conference and obviously Big Ten play down the road. This game, you probably don't get as much out of it if you win by 35, but does it feel like this game, to have some adversity and test the team early before you start playing the Virginia Techs?
I think it was. I don't know necessarily it was a test. The adversity piece, adversity is when, you're really going south, right? I think this is a game where you can get internally frustrated because you feel like you should do this better, be better, and all those kind of things. But I have to also take some breaths because we are really young. We are really, they're just 6 of them are brand new to our system, and 8 returners, but really only 7 returners. And a key cog of our wheel is Sid Holter. And Sid steadies a lot of waters. And so when I'm in the game and I'm thinking, wow, we need to stretch it, it needs to be bigger, then when I put my, hat of improvement on, it's probably going to look like that a little bit at times. But our schedule is very ambitious. And, it's probably good that this game still afforded us to not look so great at times. And then we look decent in a couple of minutes and then combo people. Because when Sunday hits, boy, it takes on a whole new feel.
Speaking of Sid, I know you're saying that you're hoping that she gets some minutes today.
Yeah.
Where does she stand for Sunday?
I think it's the same. I was a little hopeful when I had our press conference with you guys, but there's one thing to swim and one thing to run on those treadmills or suspension, and a whole nother thing to close out and defensive slide and turn on a dime. So we want to be slow and cautious. So we decided we would just kind of hold her a little bit, and we'll see. I don't want. The most important thing we do is in the Big Ten and the Big Ten season, and I want to make sure that we don't put her in a position where we play a couple and then we sit out a couple of games, play a couple, and then you're continually to it's like an accordion and can't ever get traction. So we're going to err on caution.
Speaking of injuries, saw Hannah go to the tunnel, obviously came back for a second half, so I'm assuming she's okay?
Yeah, I think it was just, I don't even know what happened. I just know I saw her on the floor, my heart dropped for a sec, but then Raina told me she's good, and I think they just maybe adjusted I think it was an ankle, but I think she's good. Yeah.
Jen, you guys, just looking preseason, you guys have a lot of balance on this team. Despite all the new faces, we knew that freshmen were going to get minutes. I guess how satisfying was it that Taylor Stremlow went in there, provided a boost? You had a mix of veterans. I think Addie O'Grady had back-to-back baskets. Lucy took over third quarter. Just that balance and having those young players understand what you guys need at a certain time this early. I guess how rare is that, and how good is that to see?
We have a really good freshman class, and Taylor Stremlow she's gutty. Taylor Stremlow has that feel, right? I think Lucy said that pretty well. Taylor is a rare freshman that plays without fear. She didn't make a pass, and she's not worried. She didn't look over right away and am I going to come out? She's going to make the pass because she thought it was a good pass. It might be a terrible pass, but she's gonna make it, you know. And I think that's what's fun, because she is crafty, she's smart, and she's a competitor. So she's got some the intangibles she's mature in. She's still a freshman in some of the decisions, but I'll take that any day. And I love what I'm seeing out of Taylor Strimlow. And she'll play 40 minutes if you need her to. She'll play 0, and she'll be the same kid. And I think, you know, I love what I saw out of her tonight. And I think her mixing in with the upperclassmen has been a really good thing ever since she got here in June.
I think it was less than 5 minutes in, you had 3 freshmen on the floor, and Tegan, Ava, and Taylor. How much are all 3 of them really just embracing getting thrown to the fire and the opportunity that is there for all of them?
I feel like they definitely are. I think Tegan and Taylor are really doing just a great job of coming in at their moments, and they're feeling it, and they're kind of just going with it. Ava is processing a lot, and with freshmen and bigs sometimes, you know, the game goes really fast. And what they could do in high school and what they were required to do, it is nothing on the inside. And they don't know if they should foul. Are they fouling if they post up too hard? They bury someone and they're out of position. It just takes a little bit of time. And I think you'll continue to see Ava, you know, climb. But the bigs are an interesting sort, right? They've had so much thrown at them in high school, and then they come here and it's a whole different ball game. I can't explain that to you, but bigs have a lot of different processing to do. Bigs don't play pickup with the same intensity that the guards do. And then when you get here, it goes fast for all the freshmen, but it really is a faster game for bigs. So you're going to see Ava Hayden really, really shine, but it's going to take a little time.
I know the film will reveal more for the defensive side of things, but it seemed like you guys got your hands on a fair share of some passes and things like that, but also gave up some 3-pointers. Just kind of curious to what your thoughts were from the defensive side.
Well, I think number one, what is clear, and I've tried to tell the team, is, you know, last year and 2 years ago, you're getting everybody's best shot. This program will continue to get everybody's best shot. Because can I just give a shout out to our crowd again? The sellout, but people showing up for the non-conference games, not just waiting for the big one, just a great percentage of people here, right? And so you're going to get everybody's best shooting night. And if you're not bringing the presence consistently and you let them get on a roll, it's very cool for them to play in this environment if they're a competitor. So Northern Illinois, their coach is a friend of mine, and she's great. The two Iowans on that team I really like, Reagan Barkema and Sid McRae, right down the road. I think the world of those two kids, and they came in and they shot, I think, out of respect, right? So you have that, number one. Anytime home area kids come back to your arena, you better be ready. So they did their jobs. It was that mixed bag of consistency. I liked the hands we got on things, but I didn't like our help side positioning. And then we would be too helpful when we didn't need it on a drive, and you'd let a wide open Sid McRae. So again, I'd like to think that's youth a little bit, even though some of our veterans could make those mistakes. But I just think, again, it's got to be time and film and time until we really get it in our heads how important it is to stay true to positioning.
Jan, obviously you were on the sidelines last year when Kylie kind of was playing a reserve role coming off the bench, shooting threes, doing what she needed to do. Excuse me. Now she comes into the starting lineup. She has a hell of a game today. Like we said, double, 14-9, six steals on the defensive end. I don't think anyone's brought that up yet. What have you seen from her that she's done in the off season or just early on in camp to really improve on her game this year?
That's, I think, every coach, when a kid stays true to the progression, right, the process, and is biding their time, and then when they get their moment, all the work they've done in the dark, all the work they've done to prepare a Gabby, to prepare a Gabby Marshall from last year, a Kate Martin, a Caitlin Clark, and they were there and part of it, but in the shadows. And then when they get their moment, it kind of makes me choke up. And Kylie, we recruited her in high school, and she just is a great, great player. And I think I would love nothing better, yes, for our team to have the success. It'd be great if she does that every night. But I love it even more for who she is. And she has worked tirelessly. And she has earned every bit of, the opportunity to start and having this great of a night. And I'm so hopeful that'll give her confidence and keep going and keep building, because she is one of our most versatile players. She can defend, our best defender. Maybe her and Lucy have to ask Coach Abby Stamp with their lead guards, who really, between those, if you'd say who was the best defender, but both of them. But Kylie can attack. And when she gets her 3-ball going, man, she's a threat on a lot of different levels. So we need Kylie to continue to have that type of consistency. But if you know Kylie, you'd be as happy as Abby and my staff are for her tonight, because she's had a road, has an injury, is a transfer, has been a role player, and I think now she's coming into her own.
Coach, I guess kind of that's a lot of great stuff about Kylie. I guess kind of adding on to that, she was your second most played player tonight, and she's kind of come a long way to be here. It feels like last year, obviously, a lot of eyes were on Caitlin. Prior to this season, a lot of eyes were on Lucy. Tonight, a lot of eyes are also on Kylie, because she really went out there, gave a hell of a performance for everyone. So I guess what is kind of like your role in her kind of reaching that potential, and what do you think is something that the team or the program has done to prepare for events like tonight? Because hopefully tonight's not going to be the last time we see that Kylie Feuerbach.
I think just, the trick with coaching is, every coach wants to, or every player wants to be believed in, right? And, you probably have in every team in America, the top 5, they feel believed in, right? Maybe the 2 that come off the bench. But I think that's the trick, is to make sure that your roster knows that when they get in, they do believe in you. I do believe in you, but I also believe that the person starting at this point is just a little bit, better. It makes it flow better, right? So I think with Kylie, I think she's felt that belief and has stayed steady. I think continuing is just putting Kylie in that position of knowing that, she's a steady go-to player, right? And I think when that clicks in her head, I'd like to think we'll see a lot more consistency. But I think that'll happen as this team continues to grow up together. Lucy is, I hope we're seeing the tip of her iceberg too. Lucy, you're transferring in, and then you're coming in and you're trying to learn what we want her to do, and by the way, lead as a point guard that's been here for 4 years, right? And she's really doing a really good job, and she's so selfless. Like, you see her kind of like hesitate, and should I shoot it, should I not shoot it? And she's we're trying to encourage her just to lean in, right? Go with your gut. And I think when they all start to learn how to play together, and that chemistry builds within them, I think we'll start to see a few more of those moments when it was passed around the horn tonight, or we penetrated and we passed and we finished. And I think that's what we've seen a lot in the last decade of our program. But said before, this offense it's kind of like a fine wine. It takes time. It takes development. The longer you can do it, you usually look a little better. So we got to find that formula, our staff does, to get us where we'd like to be in a really quick amount of time.